So I just made a video about getting out of a funk, which I still stand by. And, I thought that's what I was going through because, I don't know, I would feel just kind of like blah, like I was saying, just like not having a lot of energy, just feeling like doing anything was like impossible, or just like the thought of like focusing on something and putting energy into something when I felt so drained was just very overwhelming. And, I would do something like I was saying, like some of my suggestions, like I would paint, and I would feel better for a little while. But eventually I would kind of return to this state. Um, and so I realized tonight, I kind of had this epiphany that I am relapsing back into depression. And I've dealt with depression before. Um, you know, Let me think. The first time I really dealt with it, this is according to suspicion since I don't really remember, I think was when my parents were getting divorced when I was 5. Because I don't really have many memories from around the time that my parents got divorced, but it was a very traumatic experience for me. And being a young child, it's more traumatic on young children when their parents get divorced. And that's just according to psychology. Um, and I just remember like having this feeling of like emptiness and just emptiness. That's the only way I can really describe it. Um, and I remember like that year I was in kindergarten for a good part of it. The whole thing lasted about 2 years, but a good part of the really bad parts were at that point. So during kindergarten, I just remember like being very antisocial. I wasn't really interested in friends. I was very like withdrawn. Um, I don't know what it was. I just felt like, and it was just like hard for me to feel good, I guess. And so I suspect that is the first time. I guess the time after that was when I was 14. So there was quite a significant break. Um, and that was probably the worst. I think part of it was because of, I was going through puberty and there was already a lot like going on in terms of like my hormones and stuff. And I think this just kind of like escalated it. And, I was when you're 14, you don't really know who you are, and I was starting high school, I was figuring out my identity, and, when you're dealing with those types of issues on top of being depressed, it can kind of escalate it, especially just because of where I was in my life at that point. And then after that, the next time I went through it, I've never really had a major, I guess, episode or a major relapse. I've had small ones. I would say, I would say last year was probably the relapse. So when how old was I last year? 17? Yeah. I would say, like, from, actually around this time of the year last year, I went through it again. And when did I come out of it? I would say actually not that long ago. Actually, probably like January, February was when I really came out of it. And now it's October, and it totally hit me that this is what is going on, because I wasn't understanding what I was feeling. Because I was kind of beating myself up because I was like, I'm being really lazy because, my to-do list has been like piling up, and I just haven't felt really motivated to do it. I've just kind of been sleeping a lot. I've gained a significant amount of weight in the last month. So I've been eating a lot, and I've been eating very unhealthily. Um, I've been, yeah, and I was reading this article today on Everyday Feminism that talks about it, and I was just like, yes, 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 yes. Like, this is what I'm feeling right now. Like, one of the things on the list was like, it's, it's like, it's so hard to focus on like a TV show or a book. And, I love to read. It's not hard for me to focus on TV, but like reading, I love to read. And I always am reading all the time. But like during depression, um, it's hard for me to like focus on the book or the words. Even like a magazine, it's hard for me to like focus on it. Like my mind is usually, it's like fuzzy. It's like watching a fuzzy TV show. It's just there's just something where I just can't focus on what I'm reading. Um, and I'm just so anxious for like it to be over, whatever I'm reading. I just can't enjoy it. And I don't know why. It's just something that it always happens. And I just can't like focus on the reading. Actually, the first time I went through depression, I couldn't do like anything but read and watch TV, but like I could read. So I don't know. This is more a recent thing, but like I feel like my mind it just can't read, and it's not really that active to begin with. But it's like something like when I start reading, it's just like I just have this like nervous like energy. Like I just can't wait to stop reading. Um, and it's funny because I've been noticing over the past like couple of weeks, I've been sleeping a lot more. As I mean, I need a normal amount of sleep. Um, and that is what it is. But during depression, I definitely sleep more. I'm definitely one of the types to sleep more versus sleeping less. Um, so I've been sleeping. I guess the amount of sleep I need is about 9-ish, 9, maybe like 9.25 hours of sleep lately. And normally I need about 8 to maybe 8.25. And I haven't really understood this change. Um, you know, and it's like it's hard. I can't be sleep deprived right now. Like if I slept 6 hours, I will take a nap. Like I just can't be sleep deprived. Um, just sleep is like an escape too. So, oh my god, it just totally dawned on me tonight. Like it just, I was just like, that is exactly what is happening to me. Is that I'm in this article. I think really helped me to like figure this out. But like that, I don't know what I thought it was. Wow, I just can't believe that this is what's happening. And it sucks because depression is not exactly convenient, when you have exams next week and you have work to do and you have articles to write. Like I said, my to-do list has been piling up and I'm stressing because I don't feel like I'm going to actually do it, but I should and I need to. And that's the thing. Normally I'm pretty good. I procrastinate like anyone else, but normally I'm really good at getting stuff done, but it seems like lately it's just so hard for me to focus on do anything. And it's not even like it's starting it. It's like saying I'm going to start studying. And it's so hard for me to like do that. I'm always like, no, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm going to feel so much better tomorrow. Or like, I'm so tired right now. Or it's so late, I don't feel like working. It's like constant though. So it's concerning, and I think, I'm actually considering, I've been on meds before. I've never stayed on them for a couple reasons. Um, and actually, a lot of it has to do with, I can't swallow pills. It's a psychological thing, but I still can't do it. So I have to chew whatever pill I'm taking. And pills don't exactly taste pleasant. So I kind of associate it with a negative experience because I have to chew it. So that's been an issue for me, and then I just don't stay motivated, or I'm not motivated to stay on it, I guess. So, yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say that I might actually start talking about this a little more, just because at the moment I don't really have an outlet except for therapy, and that's only like once a week at the most for an hour. So that's not exactly a huge outlet. I mean, it's great, but, I can't talk about everything in an hour. I mean, this video is 10 minutes long. I don't even feel like I've said, like, half the things I wanted to say. But I think I'm going to be open, I think, to going back on medication. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that, my life has changed since the last time I even went through depression. I didn't really have many responsibilities at that point. I did, but not nearly as many as I have now. Now I have 2 internships. I blog, I have articles that I write. I'm a writer for a lot of different websites. I'm in college. I have a lot more that I have to do. Like, I can't just not work for my job. And I mean, I could theoretically, but if I do, um, I'm not going to have a job. And my job is great in that they're very accepting and understanding of what you're going through. So I think once I talk to my therapist and like maybe go on meds, and that point I'll probably tell them this is what's going on, and this is if my work is like lacking. This is why, and it is unpaid. So but like school and stuff, I can't really get out of that. If I get bad grades, I get bad grades. Can't really change or fix that. So I'm trying to I guess, figure out an action plan because I'm not going to, I guess, let it just happen the way I have before. And I don't think that's a good decision. And like I said, part of it is because I have more responsibilities. So it's harder to have depression when, you have things that you need to get done. It's harder to avoid it because eventually it's going to catch up with you. Like I've spent a couple days basically doing nothing, but I'm going to need to start doing things because if I don't, I may not have a job. I may get really bad grades. Excuse me. There's going to be some real consequences if I don't get it together. So anyway, I know this video was long, but I just wanted to get all of that out. And I will talk to you guys soon.